It's martini time again. Welcome to Martini Time, my favorite time of the day. So, I come to this talk tonight with it's a challenge. My topic tonight is, are you a hypocrite? And you know, when you read the Bible, let me have a sip of martini first. When you read the Bible, particularly the Old Testament, the prophets are always railing about the hypocrite. Israel, don't be a hypocrite. The hypocrites are coming. The hypocrites are coming, you see. There's nothing worse than a hypocrite in the Bible. The prophets are always screaming about it. What is a hypocrite? And so I want to know. And so but what I know, what I learn, what I apply is always what I discover in my everyday mind. So I try not to bring to you just rattling off some philosophy or religion. I try to share with you everyday mind, your everyday mind, my everyday mind, which is experience. If you can't relate these abstract principles and teachings to your experience, they're not worth anything. They're worth nothing if you can't apply them and discover them in your everyday mind. And in Zen it says, what is enlightenment, Master? He says, everyday mind is enlightenment. Well, that's crazy. I don't feel enlightened, you see. So here's the problem. Now what if, to an imaginary situation, my situation is that I've always been conflicted between two commandments. One is the belief that I'm a screw-up, and the other one is the belief that I'm not a screw-up, you see. So anyway, my father kind of like made me believe I was a screw-up. I couldn't do anything. I'd screw up. Here, let me have that. You can't do it. Yeah, you get the point there. So anyway, that's been my particular neurosis. It's been my happy fault, because unless you have a happy fault, you don't have anything to work with. So I say, figure out what your neurosis is and welcome it. So let's get to the point here. We're trying to find out what a hypocrite is. Am I a hypocrite? I don't even know what a hypocrite is. And that's the problem. Hypocrisy is unconscious. See it in other people, but you never see it in yourself. And why not? Well, here's the thing. We have to understand what a double bind is. A double bind is two commandments that are contradictory in a mutual dependent situation, and you must obey one, but you can't because each cancels the other out. A classic one is the mother who tells the child, try to be spontaneous. Or the teaching coach, when you're getting ready to teach or do something, and he said, try to be spontaneous now. I'm trying. You can't do it. Spontaneous means not trying. Pulling yourself up with your bootstraps. All of these sayings and everything are about the double bind, out of which you can't get no matter what you do. You can't. But the problem is you must obey. But you got two commandments. How do you make it one? You must obey. You can't be two. Otherwise you're schizophrenic. There's only one world. There's only one reality. The one you're in. I mean, if you see two realities now, you need to go see a doctor. You see, the now that you're in is undivided. The room that you're in, unless you have a walleye like me, when I look to the left, I see two. Okay? I used to wear prisms. But I had a little operation, so I got my focus vision straight ahead. But when I look you can see, when I look to the left, you see one eye's going up. I see two. When I was a child, I remember thinking everybody saw double when they looked to the left. So you want to get it straightened out. So you just see one, not two, you see. That's not normal. So when you see two, by two commandments, thou shalt be spontaneous, and thou shalt try to be spontaneous, so you can be good. Try to be good. That's a double bind. Everybody says it. Try to be good now. What does that mean? Well, if you're going to try to be good, that means you're not good. You got to try to be good. But you are good, basically. So if you try to be good, you're canceling out being good. Puts you in a double bind. So how does this create hypocrisy? Well, since there must be one, not two, you have to figure out a strategy so you can be both at the same time. That's called eating your cake and eating it too, and keeping it too. That's what you have to do in order to obey the double binding commandments. So you can do both at the same time. So how do we do that? Well, let's see now. Okay, so take the example of screw up. Okay, so you say, well, you're leaving the room and somebody says, don't screw up now. All right, so you go in the other room and you're trying not to screw up. You're being really careful. You're watching everything. You're doing everything. You're trying not to screw up. And damned if something doesn't come out of the blue and you screw up. Maybe something you hadn't planned on. And I was trying so hard. But this thing happened. Something broke. I don't know. And I screwed up. You got to eat your cake and do it. You were trying not to be a screw up, but you screwed up. There you go. So when it comes to something like racism, where the two commandments are, one of them is that you are conditioned to be a racist from your society, so you feel racist thoughts, but consciously you're good. I'm not a racist. So now you got a double bind. I'm not a racist. I am a racist. So how can I eat my cake and eat it too? Well, I split my mind, you see, so that I'm doing racist things, but I'm feeling not racist thoughts. And people get, particularly in parts of the Republican Party that are obviously racist, they'll pass a policy like voter ID. Well, that's not racist. It's about protecting voters' sanctity. But it prevents black people from voting. Hypocrisy. You're saying one thing, my intentions are good, but you do the opposite. That's a split. But you get to keep your cake and eat it too. You get to be a racist and not a racist at the same time. You see, so that's basically what but we can find that's an external thing where we see it all the time in people. But finding it in yourself, now that's seeing it in yourself, you see. So we find ourselves in this conflicting behavior where we're thinking we're doing one thing but doing another. That creates a gap in the mind. I think I'm one person, but I'm two. My body's doing this, my mind's doing that. And as the gap grows, you see, between the two, the anxiety and the pain intensifies because I'm split. I'm being pulled apart. And the more I try to be good, the more I do the opposite. And it widens and widens until I have a nervous breakdown or shoot myself. You see. Because you can't get out of it. It just gets worse and worse and worse. So here's the happy fault. When it gets to the point where you can't take it anymore, something snaps. You give up trying to be good. You give up trying to be spontaneous. And when you give up trying to be something, you see that you give up because you see that you can't try to be spontaneous. Now, the seeing that you can't obey the two commandments is outside of the two commandments. So, here are the two commandments. Try to be spontaneous. Mother told me to do that. Be spontaneous. I am spontaneous. Try to be good. I am good. You see, the two opposite commandments. One from external, one from internal. Up, you see. When I see that no matter what I do, I can't bring them together, the seeing is outside of the duality. The seeing is the unifying action that brings the two together. So unification is seeing that you are divided and you can't escape, you see. And that we have a lot of names for that. The power of now, enlightenment, satori, forgiveness, self-realization, self-actualization, authenticity. The words go on, but they're all the same. Unity. I come together in a snap, in a flash, in an awakening. Ha! And you laugh because you're free. You laugh because you're free from the division of your own mind. So thanks for dropping in.